I think we should all have as much technical knowledge as possible to make films. The technical knowledge of a camera, lenses, film stock, lighting, sound, editing machines. But I think the main thing is to learn by doing. When you have hands-on and are doing things, it brings you into the thing and you realize what this does, what that does, and opens up possibilities for the flow of ideas. You're learning by doing, not an intellectual understanding, but an experiential thing. That is so important as far as I'm concerned. All the different parts, get into it. And then in film school, if you're lucky, you'll be with other students. And if they're the right ones, you'll inspire one another and light a bigger fire. And you can meet people that you'll stay with, and work with. And it could be really, really great, this school learning environment. Maybe get a camera. Save up, figure out a way to get a camera and learn how to use it. Then maybe get some friends and write a scene based on ideas that you might have caught and shoot that. And then because you did that and you see what the camera did, you see like, oh, I should have been closer on that shot. That would have, and then I should have, and you start learning. And then maybe you reshoot the thing, or maybe new things have come along and you learn by doing. And then more ideas will come, because now once you start seeing what this particular camera gives you, if you have this particular light and you see this girl saying this thing in a certain way, you start getting the medium starts talking to you. And it's like it introduces itself to you. You get to know it. And then the more you get to know it, the more it helps you get ideas. Oh, if I did this, and that's an idea. Or, and then they come. And so you just stay alert, do your work, don't worry about the world going by. It doesn't mean that you can sit around and not do anything. You've got to get your butt in gear and do it. And don't take no for an answer. Translate those ideas to cinema or to a painting or to whatever, and figure out a way to get it done. This is a sculptured screen for 6 men getting sick, minus this film and the sound. 2 of the faces are me and 1 is of Jack. And they're cast in resin, all put together to be this screen upon which the film fell. What you just saw started everything for me in cinema. That particular thing started with an idea or a kind of a experience that happened to me when I was sitting at night. I picture it being around 9:30 or 10 at night in a cubicle in a large studio room at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. I'm in there painting a picture about 3 or 4 foot square, mostly black, with these this green, sort of a garden, a green coming out of the black. I'm sitting back looking at this thing, and as I'm looking at the painting, the green began to move, and from the green and black came a wind. And I thought, oh, a moving painting. And then I started thinking about a moving painting. And at the end of every school year, they had an experimental painting and sculpture contest. And I thought, oh, I'm going to build a moving painting for that experimental painting and sculpture contest. I didn't know anything about film, zero. And I went down to this, I thought 16 millimeter cameras were all the same. So I called around and I got these varying prices, some super expensive, some, I ended up at this place called Photorama, downtown Philadelphia, because they had the cheapest 16 millimeter camera. And I rented a little wind up Kodak camera that took single frames and had these little bitty cooked lenses on it, a turret of 3. And I loved this little camera. I mounted it on the top of a dresser in an old hotel room that the Academy had purchased, this hotel, and the rooms were all empty, but in the hallways there were beautiful brass beds and oriental carpets rolled up and all kinds of different pieces of furniture. But the rooms were open for work, and I built a sculpture screen in there. And then I think came in faces and the sound of a siren and them getting sick. So it kind of started, those ideas came, and this siren was on a loop of 1/4-inch tape, and the film was not from a negative, it was what do you call it, reversal. It was what you develop is what you show. And so it was really trashed by going through the projector so much. That whole thing cost $200. And I said, this is absolutely ridiculous and I can't do this anymore. It was going to be the end. But a wealthy former student saw it and commissioned me to build a moving painting for his home. And that led further into the world of cinema. And for me, I just started getting green lights in that world. The beautiful thing about making that was I started to fall in love with cinema. I think you should go into film history a little bit. At the American Film Institute Center for Advanced Film Studies, Frank Daniel had what he called a film analysis class. And I think this is a great, great thing. There were maybe 10 students and would come to the class, and we'd meet for a few minutes in Frank's office, and he would say, okay, you're in charge of editing, you're in charge of music, you're in charge of sound, you're in charge of, costumes, you're in charge of this. Give everybody something. And then we go see a film. And then we go back into Frank's office, and each person would talk about a particular, element, like the editing or the sound or the music. And it helps to realize that there are these different sections, and each one has so many possibilities to, realize those ideas in fantastic ways. I love Billy Wilder for his timing, characters, and sense of place.
I can't go on with the scene. I'm too happy. You see, this is my life. It always will be. There's nothing else. Just us. And those wonderful people out there in the dark. All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Doesn't get much better than that. I love Sunset Boulevard with all my being, and I love his film The Apartment. And one thing I've noticed about both those films is that places, they feel so good, so correct, and it's just beautiful sense of place, time, mood, characters, timing, humor, sadness, all this human condition just flows in a Billy Wilder film. Is a great, great, great artist. Sunset Boulevard is one of my all-time favorites. It captures the golden age of Hollywood, all the different things, the stages, the back streets, the mansions, this thing that Hollywood does. It's just a magical, beautiful, incredible film. This Chinatown, I say, is a great, great film and will live on. And one of the great things about it is, I say, like this thing, Room to Dream. A film, even though it ends, the thing I like about some, endings, and Chinatown is a perfect example. The film ends, but there's still room to dream. And in Chinatown, the thing that makes it so much room to dream is that last line. Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. Boom. It just opens up this mystery of this place, and the film continues and continues even though it's over. I love everything about Fellini. One of the greatest filmmakers ever. My favorite film of Fellini's is probably 8.5, but I love La Strada. I loved I Vitelloni. I've loved all of his work that I've seen. Every single thing is just got Fellini's mark on every frame. That's the thing. You know it when you see it, and his work is unique and fantastic.
Have you seen my wife?
Merry Christmas, Daddy!
Kids! Pete! Kids! Janie! Tommy! Let me look at you. Oh, I could eat you up. Where's your mother?
She went looking for you. With Uncle Billy. Daddy!
Zuzu, my little ginger snap. How do you feel?
Fine. Not a smidge of temperature.
Not a smidge of... Hallelujah.
Hello? George!
Mary.
Darling, where are
Mary.
you? George, darling, where are you? Oh, George, George.
Oh, let me touch you. Let me touch you. Are you real?
George.
Well, you have no idea what's happened to me.
You've no idea what happened. Well, come on, George, come on.
Incredible. Frank Capra was another one, all-time greats. And this film, It's a Wonderful Life, was made, I think, in 46, after the war. And Jimmy Stewart had been in the war and for years. And when he came out, he didn't know if he had the stuff. And this thing came along. He does some things in this film that are like, there's one place in the film where he says the word Mary. It's unbelievable what comes out of his voice, his soul. He's just so great in that film. Frank Capra is one of the all-time greats for sure. Frank Capra had a thing for this side of human beings that was so beautiful.
Oh, Mary. Mary.
Well, I'm here.
Will you tell that guy I'm giving him the chance of a lifetime? Do you hear? The chance of a lifetime.
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Now, you listen to me. I don't want any plastics, I don't want any ground floors, and I don't want to get married ever to anyone. You understand that? I want to do what I want to do. And you're...
George.
Mary. Oh, dear.